the flag of the States of America, and to the republic one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice. Roll call, please.
Roll call. Bud.
Present.
Barb.
Here.
Alan Robbins.
Present.
Tabitha.
Here.
Wesley. Ken.
Present.
Matt. Here. Alan.
Here.
Thank you.
Okay, Paul.
Sorry, Jim. Excuse me.
Okay, you've all had time to read the minutes. Did you see that one correction what we had?
I did not see that.
This is under section 4.
Okay.
It should say different.
Oh, okay.
Are there any other corrections to the minutes? If not, we need a motion to accept.
So moved.
Second.
The spelling of Hannah in there as the neighbor for the variance for 118 Clover. Spelling spelled H-E-N-N-I-S, H-A-N-N-A-H. That's.
Okay, I'm sorry, which one was that?
Hannah,
Which item number?
I think it was.
Number 2 is.
Number 2. Number 2, halfway down.
Okay. Oh, there it is. It should be spelled out.
H-A-N-N-A-H.
H-A-N-N-A-H-S.
Yes.
Thank you.
I think I saw him, but I saw it. E-A-N.
Okay. And Ryan said, this should be Jim.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other corrections to the minutes? Well, then we need a motion to accept them.
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? You have the bills. Are there any more bills?
There was one revision last minute. $22.97 was added. Total revised billing, $19,966.44.
I move that we pay the bills as amended through the proper.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, during last month, we had that nice pride party. Thank you, Pam, Bob. And also, there was a very good ski show on Saturday morning of Labor Day, which was, had a lot of the home team. It was a very nice show. And, they usually have a show on Sunday, but it was probably just as well that none of the Sunday activities had been scheduled anyway, because it was miserable. But anyway, nice events, thank you. Okay, Alan, safety.
Yeah. Just the chief posted here today. Ben, we have to give a fire report, please. Sure.
You all got it, correct?
Yeah. Okay.
65 calls last week, that's all, it takes up the whole page, I guess. The breakdown of where we were, 48 Lafayette, and the whole mutual aids, 10 here at Chippewa Lake and 1 at 40 guys. 65, 41 during the day, 24 at night. And then the breakdown of what kind of calls we were on. One fire call, 78% of them, 51 calls were medical calls or injured people, EMS calls, and then various other preventive service calls, Rangers Commission calls. Gave mutual aid 3 times, and we got mutual aid 3 times left. We're even. Under our community news, we went to the National Night Out up in Medina, and it was pretty well attended up there, I guess. We posted a mom's club with a bunch of children one morning, and had a great time with them. Taught them what we can about safety, and also had their 20 individuals from the dairy farmers in Medina County, which when they pulled in, I saw there were no pickup trucks. I'm thinking, they're the people who do the chemical work over there on Route 18. They have I guess they test all. Yeah, no pickup trucks. And we gave them some fire extinguisher training also. We also helped at the Tunnel of the Towers this past weekend, which was a great event up there in Medina. Got donations from the Elks Lodge, and for preparation of fire prevention month coming up, prevention week. Cameras and door locks, cameras were installed, a few extra cameras were put in, and the door locks are redone. We had an ambulance that get repaired, it cost a couple $1,000 to get that thing going up to it. It's the cost of these new vehicles. You know, they're touchy. And all of you have cars, you know, the same way it was. Get a car fixed for $50 or $100. We've got one full-time firefighter, probably going to get approved tonight at the trustee meeting. He's a warrior fireman, and he's going to join our department. We've had quite a few lately join. They're full-time somewhere, and they come well. They have a pretty deep knowledge and background. Not young, we get a lot of young people all the time that apply. All of them are certified, some of them are not, can't they're not certified. These fellows have got probably real great additions to our department. And so that was the only thing I had to this is we have a boat in the water again, and it's on a floating dock down the block. I don't know if you've seen it. The family that is big with the polar plunge that lives down the block from you, they own the 2 houses.
Martin's.
They don't live there.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, that's, we're using one of their floating docks. They have a jet ski that's in for repair, so we used to put it up on that floor. So that looks like a great way to do it. I mean, we don't have a huge boat. We had some trouble with it. We got it running good. We've been out there playing with it and drilling with it. So it's a great situation. We can get there. It's tarp, so we untarp it, push it off the dock, get it started, and go. I mean, hopefully it starts. Well, lately, it's been,
Well, that's a nice addition.
that's, I think it's a step in the right direction. We still need some more training. Personnel wise, we've been out there with just people and just getting comfortable with the boat. You know, it's not a big load. I'll tell you, when we got it, we had some trouble with the ignition. So we had it, one of the fellows was in the township. He used to do it professionally. That was his vocation. Fix the boat. And he fixed it for nothing. Of course, he gave us the parts. Did it for nothing. We got it back, and then the next day we put it in the water. Windy day coming out of the north, and we put it in down at the south end of Westfield Landing. I'm not a great boat guy. It's tough. I mean, doing this to my, I didn't have an extra person. So I didn't boat by myself. Nobody in the bow, so a little bit. But we put it in here. We went over here. Put it in there, and it was a huge difference. And so put it up on that floater, and yeah, it's a step in the right direction for getting
It's a nice little Martellus. Check out both things. I wanted to highlight to the audience your average turnout time, which is dispatch time to en route, 2 minutes. Year to date, 2 minutes, 4 seconds.
Oh, yeah, I missed that, I was
Yeah,
thinking.
these are extremely, and then average travel to on scene, 5 minutes, and 3 seconds. Which are just outstanding.
Again, that's, that's around the clock. I mean, without that, those numbers would change a lot. No exception, so.
On the side notes, they have their night of the races Saturday night. Just a nice fun event. Never did one of those. So.
Right.
And somewhat related to we received a $35,000 one-time strategic investment. So we're to do paperwork on folks here. This replacement that never working. So that's coming around.
I can add something, actually, I know you got, Peggy, which the road's getting work done right now. We're glad to see that, because you're getting new lines, you put new hydrants on. You know, we do those hydrants in spring, you have trouble with one or something, in a lot of departments. They get on, they like us, well, these whole hydrants. We have a problem, they're shutting down, so. We're glad to see that. Getting new hydrants, new water lines, going around First Street, which is just not, it's in the township, but. That's getting new water line, hydrants. Good progress to see.
Any questions from council?
No, I'd like to say I watched a moving tribute to the New York firefighters doing with 9/11. A very humbling, very sorrowful event, very honorable event. And my hat's off to you, sir. Anybody that would knowingly walk into a building that's on fire. There's something wrong with you.
We protected pretty well, we got good water, we have good water, know what to do with it.
Just saying, that's kudos to you guys.
Thank you. And then there's the 9/11 ceremony, which is Wednesday at the Giant Fire Station. Kind of complicated. Gonna go over there for that.
A moving tribute to those men and women.
Thank you for bringing it up. Anything from the audience? Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, I'm gonna stick around a little bit.
Okay. We have Deputy Harhay here this evening. Here's reports. For August, we had 99 hours. Okay. Well within our time zone. 652 miles on the cruisers, 36 gallons of gasoline. R8 at 39, Yarborough 35, 25. Deputy Harhay mentioned today, Officer Cornelius, who'd been a long time server for us. Well, past a year for injuries, finally took retirement on disability. That was good. I'll read over activities for the month. Domestic 1, disturbance fight 1, fire alarm residential 1, theft larceny 1, missing juvenile 1, active patrols 55, radar enforcement 2, suspicious persons 3, lockouts 3, canceled call, accidental informed 1, reading problems 1, citizens assist, standby and directions 2, diabetic problem 1, call 3, fire non-emergency service call 1, fireworks complaint 1, follow-up 1, gas leak, odor, natural or fuel 1, golf cart inspection 1, that gives us 14 for the year. Sick person 2, suspicious circumstances, 1, traffic stop 1, unconscious, fainting or unresponsive 1, welfare checks 2. Total of 88 activities for the month. Deputy, any add-ons to any of that?
No,
Good point. We always think that the fire department is the first responder. Many times it's the veteran, just by, the timing and location. They serve a very valuable way. We appreciate that. Any questions from council? In the audience?
I have a question.
Yes.
We had a couple of emergencies on our street this past month, and one of them was called in as a non-emergency, but turned into an emergency. So does that get changed in your code, in your book? If they like, you have to take them to the hospital? So if it was supposed to be just a lift somebody up that fell, but it's been a long time.
Just so they get
Is that-
categorized as a 911 or.
Okay, so it's
call. So if it was an ambulance call, it's still an ambulance call, regardless of what happens.
Okay, okay,
The dispatch creates the report.
okay.
And it's a long, 4 or 5 pages. I sanitize it because I have my database on this. I have about 30 different categories that you can do.
Not just two.
Yes, wait. So when I take that report, I sanitize it down to something that's a little more relevant. Generally, I show council people want the month that's we're active on, and then at the end of the year, we put out the full year of activities and try and summarize it. Obviously, we're concerned about those ones. There's a lot of health-related ones. You heard that, which are important to all of us in this room.
Right,
I would see the ones that have that larceny are, the things that are critical could be felony rise to level of interest that once they go to detectives, it goes quiet. There were something that Jim could follow up or have to be on his shift. But a lot of these confidentiality, they're protected. So all I can do is report them and have knowledge of one like that we had the cycles for us fought. That's great. 3 of those got grand juries and they found the fourth.
Yeah, I think grand jury this Tuesday, so I'm sure you got invited.
wow, that's
So,
great.
Good work on their part. Anything else, anybody from council or audience? Thanks for the questions. Last report is Medina County Park District activities on Chippewa Lake. We just started this year to give a summary on that. We started in May. The August report was one was ORC 154705, completing a voting course prerequisite to licensing. So somebody would have done probably underage or had the proper license certification for that. You've seen a few of this. This is the third one. Observer report on going skier. So people should know that. The last one was water tags. Maybe they didn't have some data tags on the boat. Those were actual citations. They're giving warnings out. They gave a warning for the observer report on towing a skier. Warnings were restricted on sitting, standing, walking, or moving vessel. Warning on 2 watercraft tags and failure to register. And I don't know the criteria of how they go to verbal warning versus citation. Circumstances, I don't know that. There are no data checks this time. Most of them, they give the citations of verbal warnings under ORC codes. They, on 2 instances, they've given park codes, must be park codes. The one on airborne over district waters, failure to register as a park code. Not quite sure why they should choose park code over ORC codes, something to think about. anything else on that. Safety wise, there was Deputy Harvey brought, it's called a flapper camera. And this is a camera that's at like intersections or it can take vehicle pictures. And it's in a network throughout the state, maybe throughout the country, as far as that, they can identify a license plate and then they can trace it where, and he ran a couple of examples on some of the plates that my wife, myself, and it was kind of interesting what it was. There are grants out there for getting the placard cameras.
Black.
Uh,
FLOC, black cameras.
block it. And we talked to Captain McCormick. And there are $2,000 or $3,000 each, and there are grants going to come out. And I was trying to think of it, it says it might have been beneficial locally. The robbery might have been one. The macro incident might have been another. But they charge you after a couple of years, they're charging you a couple of grand, $2,000 to maybe $3,000 a camera or operating. And that seemed to be a burden given the circumstances we have. So I have not pursued that further, knowing the budget tightness that we have right now. But stay tuned, there will be other things that come out from that. The last was through, sorry, Leslie Burns is not here today, but she initiated a parking notice that people that are maybe illegally parking and trying to have good community policing onto that, would put on the vehicle. That's earlier today for Michelson to give us some attention to that, to see what his thoughts are, what his experience. They talked to Officer or Captain Cornwell. They have a warning book, or warning sign, which in theory this is. So how we would use that, the laws that they're breaking, fine would be there. So it's in development. We need to get legal review and see how it would be operational. Effectively. So that's something that's going forward. And that's all I have to say.
If that doesn't work, we could manufacture some stickers.
Well, he Michael said in New York City, they plaster it all. I guess there were things that were done years back, where you put a stick of citation or something like that. So
Yeah.
trying to better understand that, but we double speak. Things like holidays. We ask the officers, please don't give it, give a ticket to the whole.
Yeah,
The
right.
whole building, because everybody's, just a lot of people in there, you can't control it. Somebody calls the mayor or myself. Hey, party coming in, we're gonna like guests coming in, we'll probably be parking in our yard. And 99% of the time, we would, so it gets it hard from a legal standpoint to be benevolent, but it's a good community activity, trying to keep everybody happy.
As long as they don't park in front of a horse.
There you go.
There you go.
Who would you have put these on windows?
Well, that's what we don't know. Yes.
Citizens arrest.
Jorge, knowing the difficulties of policing, anybody other than police officers putting it hazardous to your. There are a lot of, it has a lot of positives and that's it.
Okay. We'll go to zoning.
Zoning report for September. 9 Parkway Path. No update. 77 Long Acre. Warning notice issued for illegal temporary structure. And we discussed that last month. And I've given one to the village attorney. So we're going to move forward.
What are the file charges on that?
Yeah. Go ahead and voucher.
77 long.
Yep. 54 Bungalow Bay Boulevard, notice for parking a commercial dump in the yard. And awarding notice for a pickup truck in the yard, those have been corrected. And 273 Rustic Brook, warning notices, portal, issued for zoning, property maintenance, and miscellaneous ordinance violation. I think one, maybe two of them. One. One out of the six has been corrected. So we probably are going to be forward in order to correct, and then our usual route to get it court. Permits and variances, 24-020, 430 Northville Drive, variance for new home, variance setback. 24-021 at 118 Clover Cliff Drive. An area variance for, roof that lead to. 24022 at 430 Northville Drive, that is the permit for the new home. 24-023 at 118 Clover Cliff Drive, permit for the proposed roof. 24-024 is 304 Briarwood Boulevard, that is a permit for a shed. 24-025, recently permit for a concrete driveway. 24-026, 363 Craig Creek Drive, is a permit for a concrete driveway. 24-027 at 597 Lake Road, permit renewal. That's the place over by the sun. They've started some construction in the back.
What are the lengths of those renewals?
It's a year. Permit's good for a year. 24-028 at 229 Willowwood Drive. Patio. And the last is 24-029 511 Wheeler Lane, permit for fence and shed.
Looks like we had a concrete salesman running around.
Yeah.
Hope they aren't all the same guy, fly by night concrete.
No, I don't think so. Yeah, no, one was an Amish guy, the other one was Fretzy is his name, I think, name.
It's all different people.
Yeah. But yeah, that's all I have.
Did you file the charges on Parkway?
No, well.
Well, that's what you said last month.
Is it?
That's exactly what you said last month. You had that. That was the truth.
You have to be rushed.
Come on.
All right, come on.
They voted for you to file charges
Okay.
2 months ago, just saying. Okay, anything else for zone? Okay, we go to Tampa, community relations.
I don't have a whole lot. I have to say that every meeting and then it goes on and on and on. So I really don't feel like I have a whole lot. I personally don't have anything myself except for the fall festival, because that's all I've been thinking about this entire past month and a half. Pride, however, has the golf cart games this Saturday. Is that Saturday or Sunday? Saturday, and they're still available to sign up. You're still do you have people who signed up?
Yeah, we have like 12, I think 12 parts. I'd like to have 20, but.
Okay, so there's still room.
what.
So see Pam and get signed
And I
up.
just got another one, and then she just emailed me just now, so somebody died, and now we can't.
Excuses.
You know, give them and then they. So anybody that can possibly be in it.
The Porch Rock this past weekend has been rescheduled to the 20th. And then there's another Porch Rock around the 21st still. And that's really all I have. Fall Festival will be September 28th. We'll start at 3 o'clock. The Mike is gonna be back. He's gonna raise the balloon again for us. We have a band. We're gonna do food again, door prizes, raffles, all those kind of things. Still looking for donations. If anybody wants to give donations, taking donations. And I'm also looking for volunteers to help. That's actually all I
I
have.
forgot the dog hunt.
Oh, yes. So I initiated this year, I ran with Facebook. Everybody posted all of their pictures, all of their furry little friends on Facebook. And I put out a post out there about actually making a contest out of it. I'm working with the Historical Society. They are going to actually make and produce the calendars. So at the Fall Festival, we are going to physically do voting for our favorite pictures of furry friends. So everybody in the community can participate and vote on these pictures. So I have posted for people to get submissions to me of the pictures. I need an actual physical photo, not a JPEG, a photo with name and address and phone number on the back of it. So when you win, we can contact you if you want your fur baby to be in said calendar. I have 2 submissions so far, and I've given people until the 26th to turn stuff into me, and I've had a lot of people inquire. So bring me your photos because they're going to be displayed at the Fall Festival so we can vote on them. And that's actually all I have.
Well, I don't know if you got the email I sent out later today. I meant to send it to her.
I'm sorry, I did not look at
About the
the.
new garden club quote for the fence.
Nope, I
The
didn't see
new,
that.
the newest quote is, I couldn't print it out. I don't know why. Seemed whatever form it was in with print. The latest quote is 56.99.
And we haven't gotten that down to where if we can just get new posts, we would be happy. For $200.
Now you're talking.
No,
Yeah,
no,
I mean, 500 would probably do it. It's just, you know, it's something's gotta be done, and it's just coming up with the money to do it. And we just are gonna have to use our own labor, which half of that was labor. Half of it was doing it the way it should be done, but we're just thinking if we could just get it done, just to keep the critters out, that's our main thing, because now they're going under the fence. Now we got the deer because it's up high, but now they're going under, so they're eating everything. So it's just, we'd like to dig down so that they can't get under the fence, but anyhow, if we could even get 500, we'd be happy.
So are you making a request of council to give you some
Yeah,
money?
500 or 1,000, whatever you want to give us.
Wait a minute. All of it.
Check on the lumber. There's one person showed me it's $175 for one pole.
No,
It can't be right?
no.
well, how many spots are there? Is there still 10?
There's 10, but there's 2 per spot. And then we give that stuff away to people in the village. So, you know, it's a whole thing. And everybody has benefited from that. And many people have benefited from people having too much. And so they pass it on to the people in the village. And it's a community project. It's just that we have to get it to the point where it's sustainable. And once we get it to that point, then it's going to be.
Well, do you think $1,000, would that be enough to, not just a Band-Aid, but working with what you have, pay for the lumber?
Yes, absolutely. Because, you know,
So we wouldn't have to fix every year, just like maintain?
Yeah, and then after we get that, that would be just maintain it. I think we have enough people in that garden that we can get the guys. And there's our guys that are in the garden, and because there's 2 per plot, we have enough guys in there that can do the labor, which the labor is like. So I know we can, and that's with having a professional do it, is $3,000 or whatever it was.
Oh, yeah,
We
yeah,
do
pay
it
it some.
ourselves.
Yeah,
We get our own materials, then that way it would cut it down to, you know, at least, I don't know, it's frustrating. And, you know, you go and you spend all the time to it, you're trying to get it, and because there are so many deer here, it's just almost impossible to have to use the garden unless you are enclosed somehow, which a lot of them are not. And like I said, Cindy Cobb had 14 in her yard at one time. At
Wow.
one time, in fact, coming down Lake Road today, 4 of them in 2 different spots ran in front of me. just tonight.
Okay, no,
I
okay, does anybody want to make any kind of motion for this, or wait and see how much the lumber is, or whatever?
I'd like to make a motion to,
You first better check.
All I need to know is which department it's coming out of.
well, there's rooms, yeah, because we put that money towards, the pond. Well, from what I understand, the pond's not gonna happen this year. And so we'd have to, pull everything
I don't
out.
know if they.
I wasn't here last, I talked to John today.
It kind of was, tabled
Okay.
spring.
Is everyone in agreement that we're not doing anything with the pond this year?
Now Leslie did say, in Leslie's email, she did have the agreement for when we bought that, what's in, all is in that agreement, if you saw it.
I saw, it, yeah. And I like the idea. I think it's great, but according to John, we have to take it out in the fall, so. What's sense in?
I think the last meeting, was there would be less impact starting, this late in the season. Because once the trend change, the weather changes and the algae goes away. So it'd be better to do it in the spring, so yeah, we would have.
Okay.
Available. That's what.
Well, it's not algae, it's duckweed. That's what you see on the surface. That's the green stuff you see on the surface. Just a large expanse of duckweed.
So,
And when we irrigated it, imagine the water going in the air, coming down and splashing. Wherever that splash hit the water surface, it sprays it out, just like you do when you throw something in a pond, and it pushes the duckweed out. You turn the aerator off, it comes right back in.
I don't think these things work quite like that.
No, it's an agitator, but this is just my opinion.
so you don't think it would do any good?
There's far. All right, use this room as an example. Go up to a switch on the wall. That's 4.5, 5 foot up. Now fill this room with silt. Can you imagine that in your mind's eye? This entire room. Now kick it out till you got almost an acre involved. You have to remove all that mass. And whether you choose to fill it in or you choose to rehabilitate the pond, first and foremost, you have to remove all that biomass. First.
Ken,
So-
why don't you, this is where we always see, this is where we hit $200,000, this is why we can't do it. So why don't you talk to John, Ty Fullerton, get a good idea on this, bring it back in the spring, and it's something that. if
Yeah, we'll
this
tackle it
works or
again.
has a chance of working, we should do it.
I want to do it if it
Just
works,
to improve the whole
obviously.
appearance of the place is nothing else.
But if it's like Bud was saying, it's just duckweed. I don't know what duckweed is, but it sounds like, it's a weed. It's not gonna go away by moving it around.
Well, why don't you work with John and Ty Fullerton, they seem to
Thought there was a
have a handle on it, just to
If there
see,
is, yeah.
just to see what your take is on what they.
Okay, well, we got all winter and springtime,
So
but,
yeah, I guess that money's around till spring,
okay.
by spring you have more money.
Well, I'd like to make a motion to encumber $1,000 for the garden club, for repairing their fence, out of parks.
Is there a second?
Second,
All in favor?
That was a close one.
make sure you all.
You miss one meeting and then,
I think it would fall under community, but they're on Monday, September 30th, 6 PM.
Oh, yeah.
University Center. They're looking at a new wastewater treatment facility. The only one I'm familiar with is down. And all the buildings we have around, they're starting to be taxed. Sounds like it's a presentation meeting on what they're looking at proposing. coming from the county commissioners. I was invited, I don't know if it's by invitation only, but I would think it would
It's
be.
open to the public.
Yeah, I think all the townspeople got one.
Okay, so
Okay,
Yeah.
September 30th, 6:00 at the university.
right.
I think if you're on the parks email list, you got.
You could just, Ken, please. That's what John gave us last month.
Okay. Yeah, I got the email, but I don't know if this is in it. Yeah, definitely do.
You passed that on here.
We'll try to make something inexpensive work. But,
Ken, if they can see me after the meeting, I have some other ideas for you.
okay, yeah, absolutely.
Okay, is there anything else for community? Yes.
I have a question. So as a part-time resident, every 6 months, I get the privilege of 2,000 gallons of water each month that I don't really use. So my question is it possible that I could donate that water to you all, use it for the beautification committee somehow? Somebody just come up to my faucet and grab my water for 6,000 gallons for the 6 months.
How do you get this water?
He's built for
Bill for it.
You automatically get billed for 2,000.
When I asked them, could I donate it, they said they'd never heard of that. I mean, never did this to people before.
Yeah.
Talk to Bob Williams, and when it fills up the cartons of water.
Bob, he's been using your water, so I want to donate it to you. So I think that's how I would do it, but I don't know how to make it happen. I just know I have the water.
You shut it off.
Open the lake.
Come up there and hook up to your house is what you have to do.
You shut off at the season. You leave it.
See that? Beginning of November, we shut up.
So they charge you for water while it's shut off? They used to just charge for sewer water, shut. Now they charge for water too? Is that what you're saying?
So
They charge for water and sewer both.
So they charge you yearly then?
No, you get charged $200.
Sound like a
After they check. Minimum water.
Get charged. Used to get charged for sewer.
Yeah.
Donating during the time.
Right, yeah, because, but if it's, now, if you're donating while you're here and you're using it, I mean, what if you go
And
over?
your
that?
bill will go higher.
I don't care.
Okay.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, that's great.
I'm using 60 gallons.
Well, I plan on getting a above ground pool.
We'll just run a hose from your.
So Bob, you want to work something out then for yourself?
Better than complicate your life.
Yeah, thanks. Okay. Building and utilities, Barb?
Not a whole lot, I need to know, I need to turn off the water, turn the water off and the electricity, but I'm not gonna do any of that until after all of our last events, so if you let me know when you're gonna be done watering, well, actually, October 1st you'll stop? Okay,
No, we won't. This year.
Yeah.
and Tamitha, your event at the Point Park is at the last event?
I think it's gonna be.
You guys have nothing planned down at Point Park in October or anything like that? That we need
No,
to-
we have to spare them, that's out
at
down.
the yacht club, correct? So Gary, I know that it seems like it's complicated. When we shut that electricity off, they start it back up and they give you a new account number, so it's kind of crazy.
That's the way they work, so we can work through it.
But it's still cheaper than paying for that electricity for all those months and we're not using it.
Can I ask somebody else say, could we put, Christmas lights up? Is that, I mean, is that something that we let me ask you this.
Where are you gonna put it?
They wanted to put them along the fence at the beach. So is that?
That one,
We turned it off.
no, I don't think that one stays
Yeah,
on
we leave it on because
because of cold air. We don't-
Would there be a problem with that if we, got the lights and put them up there from Pride and did that? Man, I'd love to do it in the park, but if you're turning them,
But I mean,
how much is it?
you're running a lot of extension cords out there to get lights to the trees and stuff that are out there.
Well, we just, I just thought maybe if we did one tree or something would be kind of fun, but would mean leaving it on. I mean, that's up to you. Somebody brought it up and they wanted to do the fence and I thought that would be really nice. And then I thought crossed my mind, but I wasn't sure about the electricity, leaving it
I
on.
mean, the fence down there, that power doesn't get turned off at the beach, we leave it on because of polar bear.
You did better when you had that, when people decorated their houses and gave out those prizes. That seemed to like the village up pretty well when you guys were doing that.
Yeah,
Just saying.
yeah, but I don't think it'd be even hard.
Nothing.
Yeah, and it might be something we can bring back.
Well, all you gotta do is tell people to decorate. You don't have to personally decorate.
No, you're right.
It'd be easier, right?
Yeah, I was thinking even if we went with, by the streets and had contests on the street. Whose street had the most lights or something,
I remember you gave that award when you were on.
Yeah, we did, yeah, we did. It just got hard, what we did was we were taking pictures of everybody's house, and it just got to be a lot to try and judge and to do all that. But we could have one major winner, I guess, or, 1, 2, and 3 wouldn't be so bad. But thanks for bringing that up, I'll look into that.
Oh, I think they did that in the Glens last year and they had quite a few homes lit up.
Yeah. Well,
And they just put those things out to sign in the yard first place.
yeah, okay. All right, let's see what I can do.
Anything else, Barbara?
Yes, I had sent out an email and I don't know, maybe if it was confusing or what, but I never really got any response. I know Alan did reply, but, we wanted to put the cameras on the shuffleboard court, so I sent out an email saying that we could get cameras and solar panels, and it was going to be a little bit over 500, and I hadn't encumbered more than that, so I didn't know if I could follow through with that and do that. I'd emailed Gary and said I was ready to order them that day, but if I do it, we would get charged tax. I can't remember how we did it when we bought them for the tennis courts, but I had sent an email that had the login and password for the Arlo account and never heard anything about whether or not I should go ahead and order them or if Gary was going to do that. But the price of the solar panels has gone up a little bit since then, so it's a little bit more than 500.
Oh, we got the okay from.
We got the okay from NOPAC.
Right.
So the money's gonna come from NOPAC, so it's not gonna affect the village, but, and did you find out whether or not they would cover that cloud storage also?
Cloud storage, I don't recall asking about.
I thought that was in the one email.
Okay.
But that's, $129.99 a month or a year, $129.99 for all the cameras. And that's cloud storage, which anybody then on council would be able to have access to it. And I'm gonna say, honestly, how many have those cameras been up there for 2 years on the tennis courts? And I think we've had one or two, one for sure, maybe 2 times that I had to look to see if anything happened. So, I mean, it's all stored on a hard drive, a thumb drive. So, I mean, we have access to it. It does, I mean, it goes back a couple of months before it overwrites. And that's with all the little ping, 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 ping with the cripple ball that's going on up there. So, I don't know if we need to pay $130 a year for cloud storage. I mean, the thumb drive seems to be working, but
if anybody else wants access to it, then we could do the cloud.
Now, was that, when you were looking at the footage before, it had some timeouts, it had some problems with some gaps. Would this take care of that?
No, no,
Oh, so that was just something different, that's just some weird.
no, it's just a matter of when the camera gets activated by the motion.
Okay.
It's no different in here. These are a little bit quicker because they're hardwired. This, everything is, I mean, if this YouTube thing ever fails, it's all right there. It's all on camera, so we could just go back and play it. It has sound and everything, so. But it's continuous action. It's not, this is continuous.
Reluctant to get into, on
A year,
a year. It's a year.
130 a year.
Well, that's a different story.
That's not-
Yeah, $130 a year. Did I say a month? I'm sorry, I misspoke.
I think if the.
I mean, I've only had to look at it once. And that was foo-fooed off anyways. So
You can still do it at a future point.
we could add it
I
later.
don't want to.
Okay,
As far as the camera and the solar panel, just give me
then
the
just the camera and
details.
the solar panel then falls under, it's under $500.
Just give me the details and I'll place the order so you don't have to pay the tax.
Okay,
But I'll need all the order details.
okay, yeah, well, I thought I sent that in the one email, but I'll resend it. I will resend it. Maybe tomorrow.
And you'll be ready to receive that as soon as they deliver it, right?
Yeah, have them send it to my house.
Okay. Yep, just get me the details.
Okay. And I think that is all I had.
Okay,
Make sure I covered everything from last month, right? I did send an email to the NOPEC rep and, regarding whether or not she had, I asked, do you have any input or any persuasion in this whole thing with the First Energy electrical rates going up? And they said that they do try to fight stuff like that, but it's a PUCO thing, so it's out of their, it's a rate increase that they're bidding through the PUCO, so.
Well, they are always for the communities.
Yeah.
240 some
Right.
communities throughout the state.
As she said,
NOPEC was, they've been offering to come talk to citizens that when it's appropriate.
and I think Gary did, you sent her the information about the gas and electric for the building,
Right.
so I don't know if we switched over to them or not.
No, that would require, I'm sure, council's approval to make that switch. Plus, I haven't compared the rates. I think you're the one who told me the formula to use or how to calculate that.
Well, I don't know if the village can do it as a business, I guess, but if you do the apples to apples for your gas and your electric, you can see what all the rates are. You can get a fixed rate or a fixed or what is the other? Variable rate, thank you. You can do that for residential. I just don't know if you can do it for the business because the village is considered a business.
I thought they had a special program for
Yeah.
communities.
Cause I mean, I know I have compared my rates that I get to NOPEC's rates or First Energy, Columbia Gas, and when I do the apples to apples, I can always find a better rate.
Like, what I could do is reach out to that person. But if it's okay with the mayor, invite her to the October meeting, if that's appropriate, she can kind of.
if she's got something that I mean, what Barb said was the big elaborate way of saying, no, they don't do it.
Well, they don't.
If
They
they
can't?
do stuff like what you're looking for.
Disagree with you, but there is a special program for community that Gary needs to know apples and apples and et cetera. So if it's, they've been wanting to come for several months, but we would, order, but if they don't have anything important, yeah, that does make any sense. So I can reach out to her and see, because it's been a couple.
If she has something that
I'll do that. Is that okay?
That's Gary. Gary.
Yeah.
Tell us you can't talk for a long time.
I said, which category?
Yeah.
And then, Jim, you were gonna get a letter from the, church regarding the sound system?
I told the pastor about it and, the leadership group is the one who's in control of accepting gifts and things, so they're gonna prepare a letter of to thank and to accept. So I haven't done anything with it, I'm waiting on that.
Okay. So we're not giving it to you, we're gonna let you guys use it, and then if we need it for something, we would be allowed to use it. So as long as they agree to that, then,
And that's what I explained to.
so you just need to get that letter and get it to Alan. That's all I have.
Okay. Thank you. Parks, Ken?
As of Labor Day, the beach is officially closed. We had a really good season. Beach Center, and did a great job his first year as a beach manager. Some of the kids, there were some hiccups along the way, but they're always, especially, at school, it's back in section and gets a little tough for these, to get people to come in. But all in all, it's good. We got the new sandbox on the beach. Beach is looking good. Beach is looking beautiful. And all this, it was a decent season. Few hiccups with the lock, of course, and we stole 2 locks, so how they happen. I don't know why someone would want a lock, it's combination lock, unless you know the combination. But yeah, it's kind of odd. And the dock and kayak launch, we're probably looking at, and we got weather in the 80s for the foreseeable future, hopefully. Couple weeks open, but last year we took it out at the beginning of the first weekend in October, so it'll probably be right around there, I think. We'll have time to get their boats out. Mosquito spraying, I asked Dale to continue spraying, that nice weather, hanging on. He's doing it every Thursday until further notice. He's going up, he'll be on vacation the week of the 23rd. So that might, depending on the weather, we'll just have to take it day by day. The shuffleboard lockbox, we put a combination lock on that. So a combination, there's a sign there asking people if they need to get the equipment out of it, to give me a call, and I'll verbally give them the combination and see how that goes. So far, it's gone good. Haven't had any problems. So that's the only way we could really work it. Problem with the beach attendants having the keys is they're not working now. They're done. And like we want to utilize that. So we're gonna see how that goes.
You wanna take on the basketball court too?
What, you like the whole box, deal? It's expensive,
Well,
I thought you guys store it, right? You and Bob? What do you need a box for then?
people do have a basketball, but I'm trying to figure out how I could do a lock thing, and if yours, we'll wait and see how that works.
Yeah, we'll see what happens, maybe next spring or something, soon.
We'll figure out how to do that.
Because it wasn't expensive, I mean, a big scheme of things, Till the combination gets out to the wrong people.
Yeah.
Then there's a problem.
Is it a lock, is it similar to the lock that's,
Yeah,
you can change it,
you can change it. Yeah, we're gonna change it every season.
change it every week?
Well, I don't want people. Imagine. Yeah, because they're calling me, because somebody's got to get
Well,
charged.
actually, when the beach isn't gonna have it during the summer.
Probably not. We're probably gonna stick with this until we have problems. If we have problems, then we'll find a different solution. But yeah, it'll be too much changing around, I would imagine, but.
Shovel full of stuff on the marketplace.
What else do I have here? Okay. Oh, so I wanted to do some research and, we've been, as everyone knows, we've been having some problems with our gate lock for our public ramp. Just this last year, had to have their lock added a new barrel. It's a couple $100 to replace that barrel in there. That lock's been around since I've been here. I've been here 20-something years. Same lock, as far as I know. It looks like the same lock. Well, that's done now. And next year is a new key year. So I was thinking we ought to get into the modern times and maybe look at a whole different process, maybe a key fob process. Now I'm gonna do some work on that and see if it's feasible. It's gonna be expensive. However, Amber brought in, this is found money, for our dock stickers, $20,000. I would like to take some of that and put it towards a whole lock system.
Wait a minute.
I want
13,000 was from the dock stickers, the rest is,
this is just as the last
isn't
month.
some of the rest of that though, part of
Still
buying
6,000.
the new stickers and stuff like that?
These are just the numbers from last month, and they probably haven't changed much. It was 20,000 just for the dock stickers.
She made $7,000 in the last month, because she was at 13 in.
No, I mean, according to what she told me, I mean, I sent those up. Am I wrong about those numbers?
It's 13,000 for the dock and 6,000 for the beach.
Oh, okay.
So it is 20,000 combined.
Okay, so I got my numbers mixed up.
So the 6,000 is
6,000.
used towards paying for the stickers that you got this year and
Yeah.
each tenants and that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
That dock money is the.
It's
the new money.
13 grand. yeah. So we're still looking at $13,000 of, found money, and that would be a good place to reinvest it. If the numbers work, but it's not gonna be cheap.
No,
But it'll be something that you would be able to, I envision, a key fob, and, I haven't done, I put my feelers out.
Sarah had that.
she looked
She had a
into
plan
it.
for that.
You have to have,
Yeah, the electricity,
you have to have all the power and everything down there. You have to have
Wi-Fi.
Wi-Fi.
you don't have to have Wi-Fi.
Versus.
Yeah, her system did, and that's also, you're looking at, was it 5-6 years ago?
Yes.
And maybe she came up with the wrong system. It's something.
We
that
tried to
we-
combine it because we even considered doing a key fob for the door here instead of the code or instead of, and then instead of like garden club coming to my house to get the key to get in, they would get a fob and I could program the
I
fob.
remember that.
But it was incredibly expensive.
So we got the money for it. And then we would just, that came from the parks. What's that?
It's gonna be expensive for the voter too, the key that they would use. right?
Yeah, right. So how would work, you get a key, and believe, I did kind of in its infancy, but I have all winter to look into it. But you'd have to have the gate, you could use the same gate you have, but it would be a lock mechanism that would go on there. You would get a key fob and it would be programmed every 3 years to open the lock. Then, when it's a new key year, instead of buying a new key, you're just gonna program the key fob once again. And of course, if you lose the key fob, you're gonna have to pay, what it would cost to replace it. Yeah, is it $95 for
For
the key?
car one.
Oh, that's per car. These are like $5.
I think
Technology.
But it's
They're
the fobs are similar to like what you get at the Giant Eagle.
Yeah, or a gym, if you ever go to one of those 24-hour gyms, to get into them.
It's, the
you just
fobs
open it up there.
Or like a
Really?
They're
hotel,
$10.
yeah, they're relative, what's that?
like a hotel key.
Something
not-
similar to that.
Not magnetic though.
Almost like when you do a tap on your credit card.
Yeah.
Very simple. That's what they were gonna give us for these doors here.
Yeah,
Okay, so you're gonna look into this.
I'm gonna look into that, but it's not gonna be cheap, but I just wanted to point out that, parks and Amber's efforts and whatnot, that would be a nice place
We
to
knew,
invest.
we knew you were gonna come after that.
It would be nice to last a while.
Yeah.
If it makes sense.
Sand, or sand, it could cover the sand and other things, because pay beach attendants more or something.
Oh, they made it now.
Into that. You talked about tabs. See if there's an app,
What's that?
see if there's an app we could share with people and they wouldn't have to have a key at all, they could use their phone.
Instead of a
The
fob.
program, and you share the program instead of buying fobs, you can share the program.
Yeah, you know, I mean, what if technology, you know, whatever we can get that makes sense, it would be hard to manage that, but I'm sure it's not impossible. You know, yeah, so it would be pretty much the same thing as handing $35 or whatever. To get a physical key, you would just get access to this app. Is that what you're saying? Yeah, well, it's something to dig into. The hardware is gonna be the most expensive part. But it would be worth it. It would be something to get us into, like I said, that system has been in place for
Well,
forever.
you can research around, there's computer people and what they need that.
Nate,
Mitch Doherty is supposed to be pretty good.
oh, Mitch as well. So he's in?
What
Yeah,
is he? Yeah, I mean, Mitch Doherty.
Mitch Doherty.
Is he a computer programmer or something like that?
It's
He's some,
some internet stuff. I don't know if it's.
So I know him pretty well.
Good possibility. Nagy's, Ed Nagy's the other,
And
computer tech.
he's always willing to help. I'll lean on him. And, well, we'll put some numbers. I just wanted to, you know, it's not gonna be cheap because the whole mechanism is gonna be there. But it's better to spend the money that, for something decent that's gonna last 20 years or so. So I just threw it out there. So we'll see what happens. Oh, go ahead.
May I suggest, we actually have that system in the HOA
Okay.
I work at in the Key West, Florida, actually two of them. Do your research carefully. I'm going to tell you the upkeep is big
Expensive?
and big. It takes a lot of upkeep all the time.
And what do you mean by upkeep?
Means that because of the system, the keypads need upkeep also. Which if they lose them, you have to charge them for that kind of stuff. So I'm not saying it's not a good idea. I'm just saying that if you do your research, you better plug in a maintenance.
No, yeah, if it's gonna be, you know, all ideas kind of save money, save effort, but if it's gonna add more, you know, that's not something that I don't think council would want to get into spending more money.
Just a suggestion.
No, I appreciate it. You know, I appreciate that. I'll do some research on it and see what we can do. I mean, next year is a key year. So that's the time to, you know, figure something out. If we're gonna figure something out, or if we're gonna go with the same lock system we have now. So,
I think you also have to consider how often people go through the gate. And HOA, you might be going in 3, 4, 5 times a day. I personally go in once in spring, once in the fall, unless I go for it.
yeah,
Go to the ski club, go in a couple times a week, but you know, don't go high tech, low tech solution works.
yeah.
And
And how many times you go to a hotel and you have to go back because he doesn't work?
Those are magnetic keys though. They've come along. With that, it's different now, but I know what you're saying. You put it next to your cell phone. You're pretty screwed. Yeah. And, I think that's it. Not really having much more. Anyone have any questions for parks?
okay, thanks.
Mhm.
Can you go to street fund?
Project's going as expected, no surprises, no major deviations. Just signed off on the contract for payment for work done. You get to sign your end.
I did.
What was it, Gary? 97,000 change.
For the first payment, it's only about 12,000 for this part.
Okay.
Do you have a completion date, target date?
Hopefully it'll be done by November. Never say never, seldom say always.
Did you find out anything about snowfall?
I made that phone call. They didn't get back to me. The rates will go up. They expire next month.
Of course.
I have a question for you, Bud. These, on Lelor, there's for the construction, there's a big gap of the pavement that was cut out. Is that gonna be replaced or what's?
That's gonna be repaired. That's on my, to-do list. I'm getting a
So that's how you.
bid for, another section. No, actually, it's on the property owner. We're having a discussion about the appropriateness of who pays for what. I'll work through that. Long story short, it'll get fixed.
All right. I'm just curious, because I know that's like, I go over it a couple times a day.
Okay, you guys probably got an email, I'm assuming y'all got an email from Leslie with her, kind of her report. And she had a couple things on there about, parking. And one of the things on there, was, she was talking about things that are happening, like people parking on their lawns or different things that we seem to really not enforce that heavily, people with no parking passes. I know right now there's probably a lot of that going on with, because of road construction, and those people have been instructed to park down on the parking pass, and I wouldn't be surprised if a few of them don't show up on somebody's lawn with their neighbors, or that kind of thing happens when we start this road work. But one of the things she said was about, there's no overnight parking at the tennis courts. And the sign says that, and I think, I asked Bud to go check. He couldn't exactly find that. I don't believe that it's in our best interest to have no overnight parking thing, and I don't know why we ever would, since we do know there's homes like Ed's daughter Jennifer that don't even have a driveway, so they have to park in those spots.
Thought we had given permission not that long ago, last year or the year before, to a few of those homeowners where we gave them extra parking passes for that area because they did not have a spot to park.
There's signs on the fence up there that say parking will pass only.
Says
Yeah, it's
parking
resident
residents
parking, but we're not, so far, unless the bushes are coming, Bud's gonna get the bushes cut around. So that say, we haven't found one yet that says no overnight parking, which would be,
I believe that the playground area on the circle across from Gilbert's house, I believe those 2 or 3 spots, I believe there is a sign.
Says no overnight parking.
I think it's in.
just on those spots.
I'm happy with.
Okay, that's just on those 3 or 4 spots.
Yeah, I know, I know I know what you mean.
Yeah, me too.
I didn't look at that. I looked at the far end. Well, it just says residents only parking, but of the 3 signs that were there, 2 were obscured by the bushes. So the bushes, the hedges need trimmed.
While back, we had somebody that you wanted to stop from overnight parking, we had to threaten them with towing their car,
Yeah,
get them to stop doing it.
Yeah,
There was somebody who lived on the circle. So I know there's some ordinance,
There was a resident that was taken to task
yeah.
for that. The house no longer there, Bob removed it.
The problem in the circle is, as you all know, is, I mean, some of those homes are the oldest homes in the village. And some of them were built without driveways. And then some of them have very small driveways. And then people move in that have children. And then the children grow up and they get a car. And all of a sudden they got 4 cars with a 2-car driveway. So I know that people park around on the circle. I know that Jennifer Stevens' house, I'm sure, I know that's not what I'm saying, has no parking whatsoever, never ever did. And I'm not real sure if Carol Moan has parking unless it's behind her house.
It is behind her house.
So I wouldn't think that we'd want to say no overnight parking. Because obviously it happens. Remember the white van that was up there for months?
Yes, I do.
And nobody ever said, oh, it can't be parked overnight. They just kept saying it's there and never moved. Remember? So my thought is, we do have such signs up there, we should get rid of them. the resident only ones and all that, that's fine. That's my opinion. But you live up there, what do you think?
I agree. Overnight's okay, parking's okay as long as you have the pass.
Yeah, with parking pass, I think that makes sense. If somebody needs to park there on a regular basis, they get purchase, or it's free. They would just be on record of having, owning one of those free parking passes. So, yeah.
I'm of the opinion when you have a parking issue, the most appropriate person you can call is the Medina County Sheriff's Department. Share your concerns, allow a certified, professionally trained peace officer to look into the issue. If there's an issue, a law enforcement issue, he or she can take the appropriate steps to rectify it.
That's not what I said. I said that
I
the ones
understand,
that stay overnight, we should get rid of them.
I understand what you're saying, but I'm saying we should not be mucking about with parking or any other kind of infraction, as we have sheriff's department.
What don't you think? I was just saying we should straighten out our signage.
I agree. Signage would be good.
Because I personally wouldn't like to see, like Jennifer Stevens, for example, or Marion's before her,
Right. Mhm.
lived there forever and had a park there, get a ticket. I mean, obviously, they'd be ticked off, and I would blame them. Because we basically tell them that's where they have to park, it's the only place there is. So what I'm saying is, what would we have to do, take those signs down, Alan, just take them down?
Well, I'll check if there's, I think there's an ordinance about
There
overnight parking, and if there is, I'll find it, we can change it.
Yeah, that's what we need to do.
And that's just on the circle.
Yeah,
It gets a little more comprehensive and complex because we have a few short-term rentals in the village. And I don't think that the people that own those short-term rentals really communicate well, or the renters really know all the little nuances of that. I don't know that there's short-term rentals in the bungalow base, or let's call it that. But that's starting to show up. I'm getting complaint calls because people were parking.
yeah, I think that's,
Or parking in the yard. So-
that's a whole different subject.
Well, I'm not saying it isn't, but it's all under, how do you?
I think, is there a way, like the short-term rental, the Airbnbs that are around, is there a way to, find out who has those and then notify the owner? Because in some cases, they're new owners.
Usually you can
What
find
the
them on the
rules
internet.
are, like, and then make sure that they know what they are, so they can tell them to their renters.
Also Airbnb and some of the other companies, I think, if they find out that one of their clients is breaking local rules, they get after them. They
But
can,
we aren't letting anybody know the local rules.
right, but if they find out, they do something about it. But also, the way to find out about them is just search the internet, because they're advertised. They outlawed Airbnbs in Gloria Glens. And we're just taking the first cases to court over that. Because they had some real bad situations with disturbing the peace, fights in the street, wild parties, and neighbors complained. And so they put on an initiative petition, which is signed by voters, and it went on the ballot, and they approved the ban on anything less than 30-day rental by like a 2-to-1 vote. So regardless of our opinions, I'm taking them to court and get some test cases going.
Is that still afoot, that dispute, is that still afoot in the House or Senate?
It's stalled. Nothing's happened on it in years.
Okay.
There was a Ohio law proposed to not allow communities
To regulate.
to regulate Airbnbs, short-term rentals. But it's been stalled for 10, 12 years. I mean, not that, 2, 3 years.
Okay.
Going nowhere.
Well, Alan, I think if we find out who those owners are, maybe give them a list of rules, make sure they get them so they can tell their people, then we'll know they know.
It's basically, we did a little bit of research. We have to be up at the Canadian side of Niagara Falls and we were at an Airbnb and he was right in the midst of that 3 or 4 years ago. And the short story was just have your laws up to speed, your parking, your noise ordinances and that kind of stuff, making the Airbnb owners aware of that so they can communicate to that, but just having the basic things we're talking about. That's one thing. But somebody can do a little research and find out where they're, a lot of public knowledge.
So that you guys understand, there's a bunch of us get together, go vacationing. We went to Niagara Falls. And the Canadians were unique in that the Airbnb owners, there'd be entire blocks of them. And they were very well organized and worked in conjunction with local governmental entities. And it was very well done, very thoughtfully done. We don't have anything like that here.
I just stayed at an Airbnb in Michigan about 3 weeks ago, and they had a sign in their front yard that said Airbnb with a line through it. But it was, I mean, every house in this little, it was a very similar to the Chippewa where we stayed. It was on a huge lake. And every house along the lake had a sign that said no Airbnb, but we were staying in an Airbnb.
Right.
So I mean,
Gloria Glenn's got really irritated by it and decided to ban it, so.
High price, we have not, there's two right around us, and, you know, we haven't had any crime, one right on the street.
Mhm.
I think the higher price, sometimes you get higher class of people or whatever, but I think ours has had.
Yeah, we've stayed at them all over the country. My wife looked it up, 50 or more Airbnbs we've stayed in. And almost all of them have a pamphlet of the rules, laminated copies, and they get very strict about
Isn't it
it. For the most
on
part.
the homeowner to understand what the rules and regulations of the community are?
And I think we need to let them know when they are.
I think they should look it up.
Rules.
If they own here, if you want to build here, you should look up the building. If you want to own here and rent out, you should know what the ordinance, not noise ordinance is. You should know what the parking bans are.
I got a call, just a couple of days after Labor Day, somebody wanted to get into the beach and it was locked. And they were staying at an Airbnb and I'm like, do you have a guest pass? And whoever owned the house that they were renting from didn't give them any information about it.
Yeah, that's another thing with the beach. Used to be, I know when we first moved here, there's a lot of people that, they weren't Airbnbs, but people would rent their homes for a couple of weeks and call that. But at that time, those people that came in had to buy a temporary beach pass. So basically the owner of the house had to buy them a temporary beach pass for the time they were there. And then at that time, when that person was there, then the owner of the house couldn't go to the beach. But that was a big thing. I don't know what happened to that. We don't do anything with them now. We don't tell them to buy their,
I think you should maybe.
we don't tell them to buy their people a beach pass or anything.
Start research where the Airbnbs are and notify the owners.
Yeah, you put it,
Parking pass and beach pass.
Bob?
I just have a question. Sal, is there no written policy in Chippewa Lake, B&Bs and rentals?
No, there's not.
No, there's not.
Really?
Well, there is a section in the zoning about
Bed and breakfast.
bed and breakfast, but nothing on Airbnb or short-term rentals. You have to get a license or you have to report to the village and pay an excise tax if you operate bed and breakfast. But as far as I know, there's no bed and breakfast. Is there?
Oh, there's taxes involved too.
Right. Oh, yeah, this was an excise, what we call excise for each rental.
Well, that's when they started when they started that hunt club on Shadywood is when those laws came in.
Right.
We
And
did,
that was there.
But these aren't there.
we discussed it 2 or 3 years ago, Bob. The general consensus of the council at that time was it was overly complex. There was a dilemma about who was going to manage and oversee the information gather the information, enforce the rules and regulations associated with the oversight. And because we're a bunch of part-timers, lay people, we took a pass.
I have somebody that suggestion since she chose to miss the meeting anyway. Leslie might be perfect, picking up all that information too.
I think if we were gonna do it, we need to do it thoughtfully and reach out to people who have some experience in their setting where they have homes. Because clearly you're gonna have good valid insight into do's and don'ts and how it works or how it doesn't work.
Well, she could put that name in.
Anybody have an idea, just how many B and Bs are there?
In the village?
11.
You know that? Okay,
Last, I don't know if it's true today, there have been 11.
just on our side.
In their village.
Interesting. I didn't
I
realize.
bet there's more than that.
Seems like there's
I know,
more,
there's at least 11.
at least.
I don't know how
That
many.
might be the short term, but rentals, seasonal rentals in this village and other villages. It's been prolific for a long period of time.
Low.
As for the beach, I mean, the way I handled it, at least I believe how it's done. If the owner of the house would have to buy the beach pass and, the parking, permit,
Yeah.
and his guests would be guests. So they had to go in there, they had to sign in as guests of whatever address
And
they're
that's
at.
probably the way they do it now.
Yeah, that's how, at least the ones, because I had a couple of people that had short-term rentals, they came up and bought that. That's how I understand it should be. So that's how it's been.
Maybe, I could ask Leslie when she gets back if she wants, sounds like it's up her alley.
Try watching.
I second that motion.
Okay, anything else for streets, bud?
No, man.
Okay, law director,
Well, right now, I've got 3 cases pending in court. One is charge of threatening domestic violence. Wednesday this week, we have a hearing on the defendant wanting to modify his restraining order. No trial date set yet. Number 2 case is a defendant who is changing to a plea of guilty to persistent disorderly conduct and will be sentenced on September 23rd. Number 3 case I just got today. It is a charge of criminal mischief and menacing by stalking. And we have a pretrial meeting. I'll meet with the defense lawyer on September 26th and no trial date yet. Well, pardon?
Is that person?
Yes. Well,
Short-term resident.
I don't know if, I can't say it's a right. The incident happened in the village. So it's charged in the village. And then I'll be filing charges against on 77 Longacre and 9 Parkway Path. And that's all I have to report.
okay. Finance, Gary,
Everybody sign in tonight? Thank you. Saturday, I distributed the August bank reconciliation showing everything in balance. Any questions or comments by council? I have a motion approving the bank reconciliation.
So
Second.
all in favor?
Uh,
Opposed?
Thank you. On Saturday, I also delivered to council the August appropriations report, spent expenditures through the end of August. Any questions, comments on expenditures? I have a motion approving the council to sign off.
So approved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
As I announced last month, all the village officials who were required to receive the fraud prevention training did complete it all. That was ahead of the September 29th deadline. Unfortunately, we only had 8 out of the 19 employees complete this mandatory requirement. The missing 11 were all beach attendants. If any of these 11 return next year, they're only going to have 30 days to complete the training. And if they do not complete the training, they cannot remain employed. That's an auditor state requirement. We have this training on record.
They're good for part-time seasonal employees.
Yes. For this reason, I do recommend that next year's meeting with beach attendance be held no later than Saturday, May 3rd, so that those not completing the training are not permitted to work beyond Monday, June 2nd. This will require that beach applications be received and applicants who are hired be contacted all before May 2nd. Because we just have to get that training in before the season really kicks in.
Yeah,
Otherwise, because again,
that makes sense.
if they don't take the training, then they gotta be released. They cannot work.
Can you make that a prerequisite to hiring?
You could, I mean, I could send them the.
Would they come on a certain day to fill their paperwork out? And that would be the day to do that. It doesn't take very long, pretty easy.
Right, it is. It's easy and straightforward.
Could you do it as like a meeting with all of them together?
We have it.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Mhm.
Have them watch the video all at the same time.
Maybe have a laptop there that they could complete it with.
Yeah, and that way it should be done.
Use their phone.
Some of these kids are 14 and 15, and they're probably not just gonna do it on their own without supervision to get it done.
I mean, it's easy. My wife had it done for me in like a minute and a half.
That's a good thing you completed it, Ken.
I would have been on the list with the kids.
Well, we can finalize that, I guess, for next season. No, I mean, we have to make sure.
Wrong
that
answer.
As a reminder, OPEC grant monies in the amount of 1643 are available. OPEC did confirm that the grant monies can be used to purchase the new security camera with solar panel. And then once you send me the details,
Yeah, I already emailed it, I did it. What else could we spend that money on?
I'll find some.
What's that? Well, if there were solar panels, they might approve it, but what else can we?
anything electrical. There was a list that I gave council last year.
I'm saying, does anybody else on council have any?
Well,
It's not enough for your fobs.
no. Electricity ran to the structure down at the beach would be nice.
That would be probably about 10 times more than what,
Well, how much left?
well, maybe about 1,300.
Well, it would be, well, you just run a line, right? It would be the expensive.
What would they need electricity?
Just the structure, just the beach tennis structure. Put it like a plug-in there. Maybe some lights or something.
Why can't you use solar panels?
Yeah, you could. But I was thinking for a plug, if you ever need electricity, it'd be nice to have it out there. If need be, it's not necessary, but it would be a good spot for an outlet.
What would the
If it's going to nowhere, what?
what would the outlet be used for? They've got a card catalog box of.
Charge their phone while they're sitting
Well,
there.
for anything, really, I mean, if it's gonna go to waste, it could be for residents, if they need to plug something in, plug a radio in.
Do we need or want,
Maybe, just.
do we want solar powered blinky stop signs? We had
We
some,
just took those down.
we did have some, but we need to brainstorm to see how we can efficiently spend that money.
When do we have to spend it by?
1643 has to be spent, I believe, this year. I'll confirm and send you all the note.
And about 400 of that will be spent on the cameras.
Okay. We'll have about 1,200 left.
About what?
Android.
Are you kidding? How many?
Based on what I find when I'm cleaning in there, hands don't get washed a whole lot. The soap
Thanks for
dispenser is still
Empty?
the paper towel dispenser does not. Just based on my observation of cleaning.
Okay. Moving on.
Sorry.
That's all right. I did apply for the PEP grant, valued at $1,000 to be applied against the AJ tree invoice, and that was approved by PEP, Public Entities Pool. And I'm just waiting for the deposit of monies, and then I'll reallocate payment account codes and so forth. So we'll at least take 1,000 and put it back into our pockets for that. The audit is still in full swing. It's been going on for a month now. As a result of our audit, which is still in progress, I learned that when I set up Fund 2906 for watercraft stickers, I was in non-compliance with the Auditor of State based on a memo issued in 1999. And that was 13 years before I was ever as a fiscal officer in 2012 in Burbank. So I will close this fund. I will transfer all monies into the general fund, and chances are that's going to be a note on our audit. Just giving you all a heads up.
So let me understand, you have a special account for that?
I set up a special fund. And only the Auditor of State's office can approve setting up a new fund. Where you
For
have,
the setting up the fund.
right,
Well,
because there was a revenue source. The minute you have a revenue source, then the Auditor of State has to get involved.
I disagree with the auditor. Because I'd like to know where that's coming. Because it just dump it in the general.
Yeah, we wanted to see how much would come in.
Well, and I can still do that. I actually identify the account code that I'll bring it in under, and I'll share it with council so you can watch and see the money. But it will no longer be in Fund 2906, it'll be in the general.
So the 2906.
Yes.
Are you able to ask the auditor to create that account?
Because it doesn't meet the criteria for setting it up as a separate account. How the criteria is established. And if you want details on what is the criteria, I can give that to you, but it happens so infrequently that it should not be a major issue. But if you want to see what the criteria is, I'm happy to share that. Anybody want it? Good. All right. There will be another audit listing. That was my failure to stop the award of a purchase order to Most Paving for the work they did in 2022 for road repair. You might recall Keith got 3 bids. I think what he was doing was piecemealing it. He got the bid for one and it was pretty low in price. So he says, well, let me now expand the work and do this. And eventually it became 3 different bids for that project. And so the scope started small, but then increased 3 times during the bid process. And it reached a total of $129,473 for all that street repair work. And what I should have done the night that council voted to issue a PO to Most Paving, I should have stopped the process and said we have to go out for competitive bids. So there will be a note in our audit about that issue.
Any penalties from those kinds of notes?
Other than my getting dinged, no. So I'll get
Ruler of your wrist.
Jail for a week.
No, nothing like that. They just give you a nasty crack.
Okay, just trying to understand.
Yep.
But you said it was piecemeal.
Yes.
Well, there's no requirement for competitive bidding on a project under $50,000.
Right, but we put all, we granted the PO at one time for all 3. And that PO was $129,000.
It should have been broken down maybe.
As he got, it would have been better if each bid had been issued a PO separately.
Right.
But instead it was waiting until all 3 got combined and then we let it go and I should have let it go. So that'll be another thing on the
I'm trying to understand when they issue the audit.
Yes.
And they send each one of us their findings.
Yes.
Right. And then those findings will point out the areas of
yes.
non-compliance.
That's correct.
So And there's no action that the mayor or council would have to take back on that other than acknowledge.
Depends how they write it up.
Or we can say he was incompetent. They
They might find a
Because
council.
we're more confident than he.
I had another village where the fiscal officer was literally stealing money, being paid for jobs that didn't exist, et cetera. And some of her family was in on it. And we became aware of it because of an audit. When I just started in this village, and they didn't do anything about it, but they told us this needs to be addressed. What we did is we removed the fiscal officer, who collected money on her farm.
Yeah, well, it's interesting. We
But
have,
they didn't do anything. They just pointed it out.
it would have been up to council to do.
Right.
If it were.
We'll bake you a cake with a file in
Pardon?
it. We'll bake you a cake with a file.
Thank you.
So when will you start closure of 2906?
I hope to do it this month. Yeah, yes.
There will be closed.
That's my plan. Yep. Okay, any questions, comments from council on either of those audit issues? Okay, as of the end of August, the balance in the primary checking account, 367,537.85. Money market, 201,090.73. Star Ohio, 109,773.80. Total, 678,402.38. Any questions or comments from council on monies?
Is the cash sweep with Westfield working?
Yes, I only keep about 30,000 in the checking account. The rest of it's invested in the high yield.
Okay, thank you, Gary.
Mhm.
Okay, any old business?
Two items. Wait, did our township service contract, is it set to expire September 3?
It is.
So we'll need to get a new contract.
Yeah. But,
I called, they were gonna work on it.
Okay. And my second item is there was a written complaint at 92 Long Acre about a driveway put in at 93 Long Acre by another resident. And Jim Grant gave the permit for the driveway. And then the complaint was filed. In checking it out, my opinion is that the driveway that was put in is perfectly legal because it was placed immediately on the footprint of the existing driveway. And therefore, it is a pre-existing use. So I've written an opinion that you were supposed to all get by email today, but you didn't. So we'll get sent out tomorrow. But my opinion is that the permit was proper, the driveway was fine, and there's no merit to the complaint.
Are you gonna send that information to Gary Kretz? Because he actually stopped me on my way to the meeting. Gary Kretz was the one who did the driveway.
No, I sent it to 93 Long
Okay.
Acre and 90.
Because Gary stopped me on my way here today to ask me about that, like
Yeah, do you have his address?
whether or not he was in trouble.
No, I don't have his email or,
Gary, if you're watching, you're not in trouble.
oh, Gary.
No,
no,
other.
Gary Kretz,
Here's the contract.
Builder.
that's the one that did the driveway.
Remember Gary Grant used to speak.
I do.
Now,
I'll send him an email with it if you give me his email.
I don't have it. I'll see him tomorrow maybe, so I'll tell him.
Okay, great. Okay,
Any other old business? Okay, we'll go to the audience. Bob? Got anything?
Nothing, thank you.
Ed?
I had a question only because we had discussion. Is there something happening with the real property or something in that corner?
We don't have anything. We have nothing been filed, nothing's been requested.
right.
We got nothing.
Because I heard something was brewing.
Well, we've asked the owner, this is on the survey. We've asked the owner, give us a plot plan, show us what you want to do, because that's the only way we can evaluate it. And we haven't got
Is that something that we feel positive about doing, or is it
We don't know what she wants to do, Ed. We've not seen one
Right.
drop of picture or anything.
So you can't rule until you see.
We've heard rumors, but we don't know.
Someone mentioned giving her some village property, but you can't do that. You can't give away public property. You have to put public bids.
That's.
Oh,
You're right.
You hope I'm right. Okay.
I thought I heard. The only other thing is I haven't talked to the parks guy. I have some other things to donate if you want them, and if you don't want, them, I'll throw them away.
okay.
Kelly?
Thank you guys. Really appreciate it from all of you.
Yeah, thank you.
I do have one thing I wanted to share. There might be a misunderstanding between the term Airbnb and rental properties. We have a lot more rental properties here. We only have like 11 or so Airbnb. Some people, you think they're the same and they're not. Airbnbs are short-term,
Right.
weekend only, Anyway, back here, we're having some conversation and it sounded like there's confusion between those two terms. The other thing I want to share is regarding the boat ramp key. We've been boaters for 25 years and I was in technology for 44 years. Don't make something technical that doesn't need to be technical. It worked beautifully.
Thank you.
With a giant lock and a giant key for 25 years, and only recently have we had trouble with it. Please don't go techie on a key. This is my recommendation from.
I'm just doing some
40
research.
years of business.
Set in stone. I appreciate the one, I definitely do.
Bob's,
The record,
old people don't talk, Bob, they don't know what Bob means.
the recommendation was to put these thermostats in, because that way people that, and I mean, there's a couple people who come to, like, maybe from Garden Club or somebody that uses, I get phone calls all the time, Barb, how do you do the thermostat? And I still have a flip phone and we have to put these nests in because they're supposed to be like, everybody knows how to do them.
Mhm.
And people come up to the building, like, how do I do the temperature?
It's
I
hard.
mean, we put this technology in and I have more work now than I did when it was just an old fashioned thermostat.
Yeah,
Thank you.
no, thanks for the advice on that. We're just kidding. I'm gonna do some research on it. Who knows?
Okay,
Probably not.
are you guys done?
Yeah.
Pam, Dennis, Paul, Bob?
For there's a street light on our street, up at 78, across 78 Longacre.
Somebody long acres up?
Well, yeah.
Or, yeah.
I don't-
Okay, yeah, I just reported 2 of them and that guy wire by the bocce court was down, so
It's the Chris Wozniak called the Edison
About that.
about that, and they're going, guys, when I get around to it, I'll come back and put it up.
okay, because
He had contact, he called me right here, the guys, I'm tied to the fair this week. He says, but if you can pull it out, that's fine, pull it out and wrap it around the poles.
okay, so I saw it wrapped around the pole, so I called First Energy about it.
Yeah,
I didn't know that they,
yeah, this was,
He was
this was the
looking
first
at
one.
it last week, and he has, plug in there.
okay, all right. What was it, what was the address?
78.
Okay. Allison.
Pam?
No, I just want to thank everybody for the Pride Party, went extremely well, and we made some good money, and going to put it to good use. And our next event after the golf cart parade, which is this week, or not parade, golf cart games and poker run is this weekend, and anybody that can participate, we would appreciate it, because we don't have quite enough carts, but we're gonna do it no matter what. We need more fun, the more you have. We have it in 13, I think, so we will be doing that. And then August 4th is our square dance, or October 4th is our square dance at the Savings Club. So I'll be sending out messages about that.
Okay.
Charlie.
Allison? Andy?
Oh, and I forgot, decorating the cost will start October 1st for fall. And I'll be sending out that message.
Okay. Is there a new business?
That meeting now.
Yeah, got a piece of new business. I guess you could consider it new business.
I don't know what it is.
And I don't know what department to take it to, safety.
Just saying,
whatever.
saying.
There's a tree over on Rutherford Road that's been dead. It's dropping branches onto the power lines. I think it's in the right of way. So somebody needs to take a look at it. And it's a pretty tall dead pine.
In whose house?
Did Leslie mention that tree to you by any chance? Because I know I heard her get told about that.
Your keys?
That was one that we've gone on Mark. That was the one in front of Lane Builders.
250 acres.
Yeah,
Yeah, 250 acres.
right in front of Lane Builders.
Got that on a schedule. I know you like to cut trees.
Why, yeah. Kill them.
A big limb came down on Broward Boulevard, right?
I feel
Oh, no.
Yeah, the pine tree is big enough to be a safety hazard.
He's got a pretty agreement to take that out, or he's got to use the yard. He has to get permission to use the yard for public. So he's got one that'll go 60 feet or so, he can work from the inside of the property. So otherwise, he's got to.
Right. Understand.
Yeah, it's on the radar.
Anything else? If there's no more new business, then we just need one more motion.
Please adjourn.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Bye.
Thank you.